How many times are you going to come to my press conference late?
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Join alongside Emilio in Tennessee. We've got Tim live in Green Bay, back to talk a little Packers as the Packers hit the practice field today. And we're going to give you all the Jordan Love updates that we got. Is he going to play Sunday? Is he not going to play Sunday? I think it's a long shot. We'll dive into all that as far as what may or may not happen. But first of all, gents, how we doing today?
Good. Well, great to be here.
Emilio said swell.
Swell.
I just want some pork chops and applesauce.
Yeah.
Swell.
I got some roast beef sandwiches coming my way after this little prime rib. Dip it in the au jus. Slap that onto some bread.
Unbelievable. Nah, don't waste it on bread, man. Come on, now. You kidding me? I got to throw the flag on you there, man. I'm sorry. We ain't having it. All right, let's do this. Let's give a quick shout-out to the good folks over at Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. Wisconsin-based since 92, specializing in Packers tickets. They're Wisconsin's largest ticket source. The office is next to Lambeau and in Milwaukee. I always want to say Wisconsin now. Click on the link in the video description. Stop it, Emilio. That'll send you over to theticketking.com where you can register for free as a customer. Go ahead and start shopping for your Packers tickets. Again, that is Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. Tim, I know you've been combing through over there looking for some tickets yourself, haven't you, bub?
Yeah, I just still don't know how many I'm supposed to get yet. Waiting on some confirmation here, but the fair weather fans are definitely driving the ticket prices down here with Jordan Love probably not starting. So I think the later we wait, the cheaper they're going to be. But no, we'll see. I'm hoping to be there on Sunday for sure. Mm-hmm. If not, I'll be in the parking lot tailgating. I'll tell you that.
Tim, I saw some of those tweets, man. They said, my family's going to the game this weekend. Should I sell my tickets? And the responses were, they're still going to play the game. So what's going on here?
If anything, you guys, we should be fanning 100 times harder, right? Let's rally around this backup and this team. It's a 53-man roster for a reason, right? We're Packer fans. That's it's bigger than just QB1. Obviously, QB1's a big deal here with our our lineage of greatness at the quarterback position. But hey, it's next man up. I don't think I need to remind folks about, the Matt Flynn days where he came in and saved the season for us, salvaged some games. That's a possibility. It's early in the season. We steal a couple of wins here with a backup. Boy, I tell you, all is right in Green Bay for sure.
Definitely. United Bates with the super chat. Thank you, Bub. He says, Roundtable was a good watch. You killed it, Clayton. Thanks, Bates. Appreciate it, man. I've been talking for about an hour and 40 minutes now, guys. I got to be real with you. I'm burnt out. Usually an hour 20 is my peak, but I was invited over in place of Basarski, Baz over at Basarski Productions to fill in for him on an NFC North roundtable. It was a lot of fun, man. Those guys are good dudes. So learned a lot, really, to be honest with you. Learned a lot about the North and kind of some of the injuries and things that are going on this week outside of just the Packers. So thank you, Bates. Appreciate the super chat, bub. All right, let's just dive into it, man. Let's jump into some of the news. If you guys would monitor the chat for me, if you see something in there, mark it, and we'll try to throw it up on screen. Definitely focus on the super chats for me. And first things first, man. The only person not practicing today, obviously, was Jordan Love. Mike Spofford had tweeted out. Wes Hykowitz reposted it. Said everyone on the Packers' 53-man roster practicing Wednesday except for Jordan Love. I think I'm the only person under the sun that's kind of thinking, is there a chance that Jordan plays Sunday? I don't know, man. I've seen a couple graphics of the quarterbacks that played with the same level of MCL, issue with the sprain there. Hearing Brian Bulaga and Mark Tauscher talk about it earlier today too. I think Wilde was expecting Bulaga to jump in there and kind of push back on Tauscher, oh no, there's no. And Bulaga was like, it depends on how he feels later in the week, because it comes down to pain threshold is really what it is. And I hate even saying that because now if he doesn't play, people are going to be like, oh, he's soft. He ain't Brett. He's not Aaron. But, it happened literally, it was a week from Friday. So this thing's fresh. I think the smart thing to do would be to sit him, obviously. But if 10 goes out there somehow, some way, if they decide to brace that thing up and he goes on that field, You talking about getting the best out of his teammates, man, and earning some respect. But with that being said, my money would have to be on Malik Willis starting that game. Here's what Matt LaFleur had to say earlier today. Now, understand there's a few smoke screens going on here, right? I think we all understand that. But here's what Matt had to say when asked about it. Could Jordan Love play this week against the Colts? This is what I tweeted out. Packers head coach Matt LaFleur answers what that would take to become a reality. Here's Coach LaFleur.
On Monday, is that door any more or less open here today?
I'd say it's pretty open.
Is he progressing well?
He's doing a nice job. He's spending a lot of time in the training room. Our guys have done a great job with him, Flea and Nate, and all our athletic trainers, our strength staff, and but at the same time, like I told you guys, he's got to be cleared. We got to feel like he can protect himself, and he's got to be confident enough to go out there and do that. Until that happens, then we're not even going to think about that.
So the vibe I get, guys, is he's got to prove to them he can protect himself. I kind of get the vibe that Jordan's already in their ear, like, hey, look, give me a shot at this. I could be wrong. Maybe it's wishful thinking. And I wouldn't even call it wishful thinking because I'm like, boys, let's err on the side of caution here. Let's give him another full week at least, right? But I don't know. It could be a smoke screen that does kind of give the Indianapolis Colts maybe a little something else to think about, although the talking heads on Twitter seem to think, oh, the Indianapolis Colts knows there's no shot that Jordan can play. Tim, the fact that what you just said about the tickets just a second ago, man, how cool would it be? A bunch of people sell their tickets, and then game time, Tim runs out.
Tim's in the front row.
I would love it. I'll tell you what, though. I think through all of this, I think the real question is he going to be cleared?
Right.
That's like we can put feelings aside and grit and all that crap out the window. Is he going to be cleared? And if he is, so let's assume he is. Let's say he's cleared medically. Does LaFleur and Goody go ahead and pull the trigger? Or do they say, you know what, we got Malik ready. We're going to see what we got in this backup. It's week 2. I know it's the home opener, but you are the franchise. You're going to sit another week, and we're going to get another week of rehab and rest and get you up to, limited participation all the way to full participation in practice, and then get you out there. That's how I look at this situation. So the first indicator to me would be if we get a report that he's cleared medically to play. Then becomes the question, do they hold him out as a precaution anyway, or do they go ahead and let him go out there? Because I don't know, man. If they put him out, let's say he's cleared and they let him play, and then he really tweaks it or has a major setback, then we're not looking too hot. So I think if you put a week's worth of prep in with Malik Willis and you feel confident about him being the starter, I think you roll with that regardless of what's happening, and you err on the side of caution here. We already got lucky. We dodged a bullet. It wasn't an ACL. He didn't blow out the whole knee. Why make a bad thing worse,
Yep. I think it's a great point, Tim. And to time back into what Clayton was saying here, Jason Wise says there's no way Jay Money's playing this week. Matt LaFleur just keeps keeping the Colts on their toes like Shanahan did with McCaffrey. I think that's a great point. And even to the point of, what's going on, Zach was saying it's been 9 days of rest compared to 7. That's going to help. It was a Friday game. We're playing on Sunday. It's a mini bye type thing. We looked at that last year a lot differently.
So you're telling me there's a chance,
right? And then even to what Too Old for This was saying, Love doesn't need to practice. There is actually a good chance. Wouldn't be surprised one bit. I'm sure the team knows for sure, but want to make the Colts prep for 2 game plans. We talked about that, right? Why not make them work overtime to do that? But having that option, I mean, if Love wants to, he's good. Matt kind of said it. Even Malik said in his interview. Are you nervous? It's Wednesday. Nervous about what? Wednesday. He's like, if Jordan's going to play, he's going to play. If not, I'm going to be prepared to take over. That's that. Like, got to take it one day at a time.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
So true.
Here was Malik Willis at his locker. It's going to be hard to hear. Matt Schneidman tweeted out Malik Willis, quote, just making sure that whenever my number's called, I'm ready, whether Jordan can go or can't. Just try to be ready. Here was Malik Willis.
Trying to put in as much time as I need to feel comfortable and just make sure that whenever my number is called, I'm ready. Whether Jordan can go or he can't, just try to be ready regardless. Because if he can go, I have to be ready, just as last week. Just trying to put
So if he can't go, says he's getting his mental reps. He's preparing to play. We're just preparing ourselves if he can't go. That would be absolutely wild if 10 ran out of that tunnel, man. Oh my God. But again, my money would not be on that. But
my money's on we're not going to know until the very last second anyway.
Right.
They're not. They may already have their minds made up, and they're playing this this little game here with the media.
Because he's doing all the physical reps in the training room, and all of his mental reps are still happening on the field while he's still helping, coach the backup, with little tips, tricks, and things that he knows. So,
and here's the other thing too. Like you talk about, Malik Willis maybe getting a Cliff Notes version of a game plan, right? Keep it simple, keep it condensed, keep it, not a lot of progression, maybe 1 or 2 reads and get it out kind of thing. Well, hey, you prep him all week long for that, and that's your game plan. If Jay Money's good to go, you put Jay Money in and have him run that game plan to protect the knee. You have him run the same thing, get it out quick, focus on the run game, play good defense, no dumb penalties, and we get out of there with a win. We don't need to play hero ball necessarily.
Right. Because some of those highlighted plays and those X-nade plays that Malik is maybe not comfortable with or more comfortable with, Jordan knows all of them, but hey, if he's more comfortable with getting them, out of the pocket just a little bit, stepping off, maybe an extra chip or something, I like it.
Yep.
Yeah. And here's the other thing too, Tim, as you were describing that, I thought you were going in a different direction because it sparked a thought in my mind. What if Jordan dresses, Malik starts, and hey, look, you jump out to a big lead or whatever, you feel comfortable, you roll with Malik, you eke out a win here, right? Also, what if you come into the second half, close game, you send Jordan out there to finish the game, try to get the dub? There's a chance of that. Again, we're all speculating here. Everybody on this panel is saying, if you made us bet on this, we're betting Jordan Love is not playing.
Right.
But I think it is worth mentioning, and all I got to say to the people that all the snobs out there like, oh my God, there's no chance he can play. Okay, all right.
We don't
I'm
know.
not going to say what I want to say. I'm not going to say what I want to say. But with that being said, I think Jason Wilde said earlier today he expects Friday for Jordan to be listed as out. That's probably the likely scenario. They'll do that.
That's the last time they got to say, or that's when they have to declare it, right?
Exactly. Now, here's the thing. There are some rules in place if you withhold information, right? That your team can get penalized. Like the 49ers are facing that because their running back that just balled out on Monday night. I don't know if you guys seen that, but he came out. Remember, McCaffrey was a game time decision?
Yep.
Thursday, the running back said Thursday he was told he started. So they're like, oh, no. So
I do remember him saying that, actually, now that you mention it. I do remember him saying that. Yeah, I knew about Thursday night. And then he kind of just was like, yeah, I know, it was wild, 20-some carries.
I was thinking about what you said, Clayton, that scenario where maybe Jordan is suited up and he just doesn't start, but he's available. I think that would depend on does Coach LaFleur feel like dressing 3 quarterbacks? Because I think you have to dress Clifford anyway, even if you know what I mean? You'd have to activate 3 just on the off chance if something if you had a setback with Jordan, then God forbid something happened to Malik. I mean, otherwise we're looking at Jaden Reed playing quarterback or something. So I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
As a coach once said, right? I like Prince in the chat here. He says, if Jacob isn't back by tomorrow, I'm sending out to St. Bernard's. So, it's like I said before, guys. Jacob is my boy, right? We became friends as soon as I started doing the pod and had him on the show a couple times and, love the dude to death. But he's like a dog. He'll disappear for a month, and all of a sudden you come home one day and he's sitting on the front porch. So he may pop in here right now. You never know.
That's possum in a dumpster.
That's my guy right there. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Ron Samble in the chat says grade 1 medial collateral ligament, right? Medial collateral ligament. The MCL sprain is a minor sprain. Here, the knee remains stable. Low risk for additional injury. Pain management is the goal. That's everything I've heard too. It's all about pain tolerance, right? Now, like Matt said, if you're not comfortable enough on that knee to protect yourself, you're really putting yourself in harm's way to get beat the hell up. And we know Jordan's game is that hop step, that fadeaway, all that stuff, throwing on the run, off platform. If he can't put the proper amount of pressure on that knee, put himself in an awkward situation, take some big hits, man.
At least he was honing in the fadeaway, so he can lean on, he can lean back on his right foot a lot more. He can kind of just keep that left foot dangling, throw a brace on it, and call it a day. But I'm just happy when they went on the sideline and, grabbed the bottom of his thigh, upper calf, and wiggled it back, forward and back. That thing was all together, man. That's the only thing that matters is that Jordan's all right, and that on the sideline they didn't call it.
When that kneecap moved horizontally, just shifted, I went, oh, no.
Yeah, but, I mean, you do it right now. Put your leg straight. You can move your kneecap back and forth, right? So, I mean, at least his leg was straight when all of that happened, but he still had his body weight on it. So, I mean, you can slide your kneecap back and forth right now, but I'm just happy he was safe from it.
Yeah. Coach Monk says, well, after watching Mr. Willis's interview, you never know, Mr. Jordan may be playing Sunday. Stranger things have happened. I didn't get the vibe that he's going to be playing, Coach Monk, but I felt the same way. Like, it's really weird that it's like they've all been prepped to say this, right? And to me, I don't know, maybe they are trying to throw a little something extra out there so they have to prepare for both quarterbacks. I don't know.
Yep.
But
playing chess, not checkers, right?
Yeah. It's a long shot. There's no doubt about it. Dan in the chat says, I'm no professional athlete, but I have had 3 MCL sprains, coach up 2, and with weapons on offense, kick the D in the butt, win the game, and move on. I like it. I like it. And again, I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's a 3-point game right now. Indianapolis has a strong front. They've got a really good front with DeForest Buckner and Kwity Paye. We'll hit on that here a little later if we have time. We'll kind of do a little PFF preview and take a look at the game kind of globally there. Respect Orange says maybe Rodgers can help Love with his knee.
My knee.
Well, and that's the thing, man. Like, again, that chart, I wish I could find it. Somebody posted it on Twitter of the quarterbacks who have played with a grade 1 MCL, and there was far more that played with it than did not play with it, if that makes sense, right? That sounds bad, did not play with it. We'll just leave that alone there. But, okay, all right, so Matt Schneidman tweeted this out. Jordan Love's the only player on the 53 not practicing. Here's quarterback Malik Willis to Romeo Dobbs. So obviously we got plenty of footage of Malik Willis earlier in practice. We actually had another shot of him here too. This one came in from Cody Krupp at Cody W. Krupp. Let me throw this on the screen. You get a little look at his release, his throwing mechanics, all that good stuff.
Yeah, there it is, confirmed. He throws without the laces. Did you see that?
Did he?
Yeah, we were talking about that the other night after the show. He's Troy Aikman style. It looks like.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Yep. So unless he's just versatile, maybe it's just however he gets a good grip and he lets it rip. A lot of guys do that, but them first couple there looked like he wasn't using the laces at all.
And that right there, Matt was working on. He said the biggest thing that we needed to work on was just footwork. He said that I think that's the basis of every quarterback. So we were just trying to give him some pointers to adjust it, on it. But Malik is ready to work, man. He was like, those first 3 starts that I had when I was a rookie, I don't think that's the same thing as what I am today, being a year 3 guy. So I really liked his interview. I was impressed the way he carried himself.
He made a couple of comments about the media too, did he not?
Yeah.
What did he say? What did he say there, man? Tell him roughly, just paraphrase.
They were just kind of asking him, are you always kind of even keeled? Are you always sort of, baseline like this, or how are you? How do you handle it around the guys and stuff? And he basically was kind of just like, I'm not really sure how to answer that. I know you guys try to get us sometimes, so I'm just trying to be cool with everybody and let's just keep it moving. So I thought it was pretty funny.
So I'm just here to play quarterback, baby. That's all he's
right. Yep.
So, and Coach Monk says right here, those highlights look like read option coming. That's the thing too. Just play along with me. They know the media's out there. They're allowed to record. They show him running a little zone read option, right? All of a sudden you march 10 out there on Sunday. Oh my God, dude, I would laugh. I would laugh so hard. But Malik Willis may surprise us. Here's the thing too. We talked about Malik Willis was number 14 on the consensus big board the year of the draft, right? He fell all the way to the 3rd round. Okay. Now people say, okay, he's sucked. He's stunk at the NFL level. He has had 4, and this was Wildy that said this earlier today, 4 offensive coordinators in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. He hasn't had an opportunity to settle in.
So in other words, this is not his first rodeo coming in, having to learn something different, new, get with it quickly. Like this is just another day for him. It looks like,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he said it. Every year I've had a different, these past 3-4 years I've had a different OC, different offense that I've had to learn, right? So,
and he's never had Tom Clements as his QB whisperer either. So I'm sure Mr. Clements will be in his ear plenty this week, getting him ready for this game.
Yeah, definitely. And here's the thing too. Like this preseason, and it was preseason. I got it. Numbers were significantly better than both Pratt and Clifford's. Okay, so who knows, man? Again, you don't get drafted in the third round in the NFL at quarterback and just absolutely stink. Most of the time, I'm of the belief there are no bad players in the league. There are not. Mm-hmm. There are good players and they're great players. And sometimes great players don't even get to showcase that they're great based off the situation they're put in, right? Not put in a position to actually succeed. You build a game plan around this guy and his legs because he is one of the quickest quarterbacks in the league. I think there's an opportunity. Think about this. What did we put on tape week 1? Jaden Reed, jet motion, 33 yards, right? Bang. What did we put on tape in week 1? We led the league in yards per rush attempt, all right, between Josh Jacobs, Emmanuel Wilson, and Jaden Reed on that one carry, okay? So you put that on tape, and then you come out and you start doing some boot action off of it. You don't have to be Peyton Manning or Joe Montana with accuracy to work a short to intermediate bootleg game. You throw in zone read with it, and you get the defense thinking, one, we got to key in on Jaden Reed. He's the home run hitter. With the jet op, forget him, in the passing game. We're talking just strictly jet motion. You got to key in on him. You got to key in on Josh Jacobs and that run game. You really focus in on stopping that run game, and then you boot off of that. I'm telling you, man, it's going to open some stuff up because you can go out of condensed 12 personnel and still hit dagger. And with dagger, it's just the targets are on the opposite side of the field. You can have the tight end, the U on this side of the formation, and your 1 or 2 wide receivers on the opposite side. You can have an underneath drag route underneath, kind of create a levels play and still have that deep crosser over the top with the dagger clearing out, right? You could throw in a little corner route with it. There's a number of different things you can do, not to mention the screen game to Josh Jacobs. There's a lot of different things you can do here. He doesn't have to be able to thread the needle to win this game. But with that being said, I'm not going to BS y'all. The way that front is built for Indianapolis, they got their work cut out for them because if they want to stop the run, I think Indy could stop the run. So the question is, can Malik Willis rise to the occasion and work off that edge like we're talking about? So I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see. Many people were picking it really, really close. Like in that round table just now, one of the guys said they had Indy 17-14. That's kind of where I see it right now. I think Indy 17-14. If the defense can hold Indy in check, you're going to have an opportunity to win this game. You are.
I say, let's go with that. Make them have to try and stop the run. Let's make the run game enough of a problem for them that they got to commit. They've got to commit to that run game, and that'll allow a little pressure off of Malik's shoulders there to be able to get the ball out in time. Little play action, naked boot, get them rolling, and see what happens.
Exactly. So, I mean, let's not forget what did you say? What was it, Clayton? We were first in rushing per carry. Mm-hmm. So that's right. And that was with Josh Jacobs' first 4 carries going for 6 yards?
Right. So, first half. For first half, first quarter, whatever it was.
I mean, if we made adjustments and we got better and finished the game strong, I think that's going to be huge.
Yeah. And the other thing too is on rush defense, yards per attempt allowed. So the same statistic on the defensive side of the ball, we were 10th at 3.8. You shut their run down, you make Anthony Richardson beat you with his arm. Now, listen, he's got a big arm. I would force him to play that short intermediate game. I'd take away the deep shots and do it in a way with shell and run fit that you can stop the run and make him play smart underneath. So we're talking about cover 3 and cover 4 looks, in my opinion. That's what you want to throw at Anthony Richardson. Got to keep a spy in there. They did really well with Jalen Hurts last week, and they did exactly what we thought. The D tackle kind of running a little stunt and playing that spy in the middle to make sure there's no rush lane up the middle, and let's try to get pressure on the quarterback. Now, the problem was Jair Alexander had one of the worst games of his career. That's the biggest issue, right? Their number one cut our number one apart. Got to get that cleaned up this week. But who is their number one? We're going to get into all that here soon. Let's do this. Let's go offensive points per play real quick. Let me go ahead and drop this down.
For those deep balls, though, I mean, he needs time in the pocket to be able to throw those, right? So that's where our pass rush needs to step up this game. We need to churn out some sacks, definitely.
Yeah. Offensive points per play, Indy was second at 0.62. Okay, so pretty impressive. Offensive yards per play, they were third at 7.0. We were first at 7.1. Rushing yards per attempt, Indy is 12th at 4.7. We're first at 7.8. And that 7.8 is going to come down, guys. That's not going to be the normal number this year. You're going to get closer to 5 as the season goes along for sure. NFL yards per pass attempt, Indianapolis is first at 11.2. So they hit the big plays, right, in the passing game. They like to throw the ball down the field for sure. Defensive points per plays, right? Green Bay is 23rd. Indianapolis is 16th at 0.382. Defensive yards per play, Indianapolis is 19th at 5.5. Green Bay's 20th at 5.5. They're both tied for 19th at 5.5. So dead heat there as far as yards given up. Russian defense yards per attempt, like we had mentioned, Green Bay's 10th. Indianapolis is nowhere in the top 13. So that tells you right up front, maybe you can run on this team, right? Let's stick with the run. Don't abandon it and try to stay on schedule. When you go to pass defensive yards per pass attempt, Green Bay, that's where we fell all the way to 25th at 7.8. Indianapolis is 6.4. They're sitting in the 16th spot. And then defensive takeaways per game, Green Bay obviously tied for first with 3 takeaways. Indianapolis is nowhere in the top 13 there at even 1 takeaway. They may have one and it's on down the list. We just didn't screen grab it. So if you could take the ball away, and here's the thing, we won the turnover differential last week 3-1 and still lost the game. So why did you lose the game? For me, it was real simple. The crucial interception by Jordan in the third quarter, that killed you. You gave them immediate field position. Emilio, you hit on it. They were what? They have 4 field goal attempts, missing one of them, but they just absolutely stalled when they got
red zone efficiency. Absolutely brutal.
Yep.
Bingo. The accuracy issues were there for Jordan, right? I can't imagine Malik's accuracy could be much worse than what Jordan's was there in the first half. Right.
We'll take it. You know.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, I don't know, man. That's just AJ Brown, like I said, Cook and Jair. I'm eager to see what they look like as far as receivers go. I know they got a couple of guys. Was it Pittman? I think is still there, if I remember correctly. Michael Pittman Jr. Let me just take a quick glance, and like I said, we'll get to it again here in a little bit. But let me just look real quick at their offense. Where are we at here? Give me just a second, guys. So yeah, they've got Michael Pittman Jr. They've got some of Mitchell. They got Pierce. Remember, wide receiver. God, what was his name? Alec Pierce.
Yep.
Packers were all over him one year. Everybody was saying he looked a lot like Jordy. His offensive grade week 1, 85.4. Solid. So 4th highest graded receiver in the league last week. So the game plan will probably be around don't let Pittman burn you. Make sure Pierce, you keep him in check. Like I said, man, make them work short, intermediate passes. That's where it needs to be. So anything else you guys want to add to that conversation before we dive into a little bit of running back talk? Because it looks like we might have a shot at getting Marshawn Lloyd back here.
That'd be great. I mean, as long as we were on the Colts there, Jonathan Taylor, factor always in the run game for them. And then familiar face, Tyler Goodson, someone that, we're relatively familiar with here in Green Bay. But I think it's important that, we're just as good against the run, or as good as we can be against the run, because if we're giving up little chunk plays, that's really gonna make things an uphill battle for us defensively. We want them playing on their heels, not with a full head of steam. So I hope we're good against the run.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Bill Huber tweeted out, "No Jordan Love." I love how everybody's tweet started with "No Jordan Love today." No Jordan Love today. Wasn't in the Don Hudson Center when we were. I like he put emphasis on that, because that's exactly what Bulaga said earlier. Who's to say that when the media leaves, if they don't get Jordan in there and get him throwing some passes around, it could happen, right? But who knows what's happening behind closed doors? Everyone else is practicing. Here's Marshawn Lloyd. So let's hope Marshawn Lloyd is good to go. That would be a nice little add of depth there as well. Maybe we'll get our first dose of him this season. I think he's going to be a dynamic rusher. I really do. Hopefully he can protect that football. We know that was the problem in college. But again, this was Daniel Jeremiah's top running back in the draft. So how do you guys feel about Marshawn Lloyd potentially being running back number 3, man, especially if we're going to lean on the run heavy against Indy?
I like the switch up, right? We need to change of pace back. We need different ways to hit them. They haven't seen them. We haven't actually even got them really on the field. So I think that it's not a bad option. And we'll take everyone that's healthy we can get out there. It's going to be a team effort. If Jordan Love's not playing, everyone's got to play. Not just for Jordan because he's gone, but for the Packers, for your teammates, for everyone that for the coaching staff, everyone that woke up at 4 a.m. in the offseason, all that stuff.
Yep, that's right. It's a team game. I like Coach Len here in the chat. I'm telling you, pony package with Jacobs and Wilson would be legit. Yes, indeed. And I feel like all 3 of these backs are just walking explosive plays waiting to happen. We've seen Emmanuel Wilson do it. We've even seen recently Emmanuel Wilson kind of emerging as a pass catcher as well, which was something that we never really thought was a huge part of his game. But I feel like he can effectively do that, in those little checkdowns or those hitches, the leaks, those kind of things. But I think Marshawn Lloyd's a star in the making. I really do. And if we can get him in there, let's see some big boy packages. I joked about 22 personnel last night. I don't know. Could we see that? Possibly. It depends on how heavy we want to lean on that run game.
Yeah. And if you do go pony package, another thing you can do, when we say pony package, guys, we're talking about basically a 21 personnel where it's 2 T's, essentially, 2 halfbacks, not a fullback involved, right? Like with San Fran, 21 personnel means tailback, Kyle Juszczyk. With the pony package in Green Bay, it's 2 tailbacks. There's not necessarily a blocking back. You come out with those 2 tailbacks, you show a couple looks. When you go double sidecar like that too, if Malik Willis is your starter, don't roll out a little speed option. We ran a little speed option last year with Jordan Love. Not much. I'm glad he didn't run much of it because it sucked. But you get some wheels on someone like Malik Willis and run a little speed option in either direction. It's the same effect with that double sidecar that you get with a pistol set. They can't key in on which direction you're going to run the football, right? So they've got to choose. They're either playing balance or they're playing a guessing game. You get them keying on that a bit, all of a sudden you flex Jacobs out wide, you might as well be in 11 personnel, right? Yeah. Now you're kind of playing chess there. So, I could see that, Coach. And maybe they have a little bit in mind of what they had in mind with A.J. Dillon, right? They were talking about they had a plan for him. Maybe they can still utilize these backs now that you get Marshawn Lloyd back and you got a little bit more insurance there. Hopefully he plays. We'll get into the injury report next year for sure. Matter of fact, let's just jump into it right now. I think we actually got our first official injury report today. And here's how it looks, guys. From the Packers standpoint on Wednesday, Corey Ballantyne, Kenny Clark, Josh Jacobs, and Marshawn Lloyd, all limited participation. The injuries individually are Corey Ballantyne, oblique, Kenny Clark, toe, Josh Jacobs, back, Marshawn Lloyd is hamstring. So I don't like that back injury there with Josh Jacobs. That makes me a little nervous. Obviously, Jordan Love did not participate, and Adrian Cooper, full participation, man. I want to see him get some more snaps this week. I think he got 11 snaps on defense last week. I want to see that dude get up to about the 20 mark. I really do, because I'm telling you, man, that was one of the notes. After I went back and watched the all 22, every player individually, one of my key notes was Adrian Cooper needs more playing time because that dude looked like he belonged. Mm-hmm. What do you think about on the surface there, Emilio, with that injury report? What sticks out to you, man? That back makes me a little nervous. I ain't gonna lie, man.
Me no likey that, Jan. Right? But if it's if it's going to be a nagging thing, then it's an issue. If not, let's move forward and keep grinding, Josh. But I mean, we picked him up because he's a bell cow. He can get through these kind of injuries. That's why we brought him in. He's younger, all of the above. And then the other thing was Adrian Cooper in his interview, man. He was just like, I play fast. I was just going out there and playing. Just doing what I do every day. Just trying to play fast and play the game. So I think he's ready to get a few more snaps, and I think that they're going to give it to him definitely. Maybe that's a difference in 3 points, 6 points, whatever. But we won't know that until next this coming weekend.
I agree. I think, and with a rookie like that, it's so cool to see him. He's loose, man. He's comfortable out there already. You can tell that whole attitude and demeanor. Like, I'm just here to play football. Sometimes rookies can get that. They play too tight, right? They get jittery. They're paranoid of making a mistake, and they're not playing loose and fast, and you don't see that with Edrin Cooper at all. And he's another star in the making. I truly believe it. I think you will see more snaps out of him. I think we may see them pull back from McDuffie a little bit here and there, and pepper Edrin Cooper in a little bit more into this defense.
I can see it. All right, so here we go with the Colts side of the injury report. Julian Blackman, safety, shoulder injury, did not participate. DeForest Buckner, defensive tackle, back, did not participate. Josh Downs, wide receiver, ankle, limited participation. Matt Gay, kicker, hernia, full participation. And then Kwity Paye, hamstring, did not participate. Their two best defensive linemen there, guys, in Kwity Paye and DeForest Buckner, both did not participate on Wednesday. That's two names to really keep an eye on when it comes to the injury reports later in the week here. What do you think about it, Emilio, as far as their side of the injury report here, man?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would think was, for Buckner was it's not veterans rest, or else they would have noted it, right? So they need a quick turnaround, definitely. But it's mostly their defense that's taking the hit. With their wide receiver and a kicker, basically our offense needs to do everything they can against them. Whoever's out there, we need to move the ball down the field and try to help out our defense with it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Absolutely.
Tim?
Yeah, I think like you said about Josh Jacobs with the back injury, that's like concerning. Any guy with a back injury, but looking at someone like DeForest Buckner, an OG veteran there on that defense, certainly a huge part of that defensive front for the Colts. I mean, I'm assuming he's probably going to try and go, and he may be limited. So maybe an opportunity for us to exploit those A and B gaps, get a little run game going. But, that's basically all I'm gathering really from that. And, not participating on Wednesday, with a veteran player, we'll see how tomorrow and Friday goes. If he's all of a sudden he's limited tomorrow and he's limited on Friday, chances are he's probably going to go.
Right.
Definitely. Carly, you got anything to add to these injury lists, or do you just want to talk some PTA fantasy league real quick?
Oh yeah, whatever. I don't know anything about the Colts. Who cares about them?
All right.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
As you guys know, we had our very first season doing a PTA fantasy league for our Patreon listeners, viewers, supporters, if you will. Carly sent over some images here. Carly, you just steer me in the right direction here, and give us a little update on the PTA league. First of all, is anybody getting out of hand in there? I don't know if y'all got a private chat or not, but is it?
No, there is a private chat. No, nobody's getting out of hand. I think one of the coolest comments so far was that a proposed punishment for the last place person would be to get a Mark Davis haircut.
Oh my God.
You guys are familiar with who that is.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Let me pull that up real quick. Keep talking. Go ahead.
No, but I would rather shave my head than do that. So heck no. There's no way. Absolutely not. But it was kind of fun.
Strays. Unbelievable.
Yeah. All right. Well, while you're looking for that, I'm just going to go, and for the pod too, I'm going to go over just the standings so far. I lost my first matchup with Pack and Cheese, 164 to 181. Dane's dazzling team won against Mike's marvelous team. If you guys are in the chat here in the show tonight, shout out. I don't actually know who that is. It'd be great if they could put their YouTube name. There we go.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, heck no.
That is a
How
birth
dare
control
you.
haircut if I've ever seen one. I'm just telling you. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's all right. And then Dave C., who he was saying he hadn't played fantasy in about 10 years, so he did pretty good for his first matchup. He beat Big Jake. And then we have CJN with his team name Aaron It Out, who beat Pack Daddy for their first by quite a few points there. And then if you want to switch to the next one, there you go. And then we got Hunka Hunka Burnin' Love, who beat Trevor from Virginia.
Dang.
Good amount of points. Yeah. Jordan T., the Immunizers, beat Chris N's team there, and Immunizers also got the biggest amount of points here for this first matchup. And then Numbskulls narrowly beat United Bates in that first matchup.
Oh, come on, Bates.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I'll tell you what, man, the Immunizers, and of course it's got Ron Swanson as the profile pick too. Love it.
200 points.
Right. You got a couple other graphics here. Is there anything we want to hit on here, Carla?
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to show I thought some really interesting scores that maybe went different than what people have thought. Like Josh Allen, I mean, he's pretty amazing as a quarterback, but I did not expect Aaron Rodgers to
Yeah.
get such a low point total. It kind of went with how his game went, right? Obviously, we know fantasy is not football. That's the reason it's called fantasy. So we're not saying that he like played terrible or anything, but it's definitely, I don't think, what anyone expected when picking Aaron Rodgers as their first quarterback.
Got it.
Oh, it must be Mike Berry. Is Mike Berry Mike's Marvelous Team? Mike Berry, you need to put your whole name in the thing so we know who you are, because there's several Mikes around. So
There you go.
and then here we go. We got Geno Smith and then Tua Tagovailoa here. 37 points is just a great score. We see that there, how the immunizers, Jordan got such a high score. And then we got one to show Jaden Reed down here representing the Green Bay Packers at 28.5 points
Let's
there.
go.
Love it.
Yeah, pretty sweet. You get extra points for any completions over 40 yards, like 40-yard reception touchdown. You get a higher score for that. And then I also wanted to show here, our scoring is a little bit different in this league. This league is pretty crazy, but here kickers actually do make a difference. So I would like to point out Jay Moody here, San Francisco kicker with 26.6 points, and then a Cleveland defense right there at 21.9. So if you're smart with your last picks, those aren't throwaway picks. Those are going to win you some games.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Cleveland defense showing up big time there. Holy cow. So do we have the standings? Did we hit the standings at all? We don't have the standings, do we? But we do know in first place, I guess, is the Indianapolis. Is that right?
Yes. And it's going to go kind of like the number of wins. I mean, right now, just because we've only had, 1 week, it's just the point totals. But as we go on, it's going to be the record, just like regular games.
Yeah. So if I'm glancing at it here, yeah, I see what you're saying. But the top 3 scores of the week, the Immunizers with Jordan T, Numbschools with Lazy Pyro, unbelievable, and then a hunk of Burning Love in the number 3 spot. So great job, guys. Appreciate the update, Carly. It's a lot of fun. We're gonna hit on it from time to time throughout the year for sure, and that way we know who to rag on too. Who scored the least amount of points? That's where we're gonna start. Let's see. We got a 133.49 by Pack Daddy.
Oh, we got Mike up there.
Mike's Marvelous.
I thought it was Trevor from Virginia. What was he? 113.
Was it really? Was there a 113 stinker in here?
Oh, no, it's 133. I'm sorry.
133.
All right. That's fake news, sir. Yeah, Mike's not so marvelous team. Mike, you're gonna bounce back, man. I got money on you, all right? You gotta bounce back, my man.
Mm-hmm. So but he knows with this
he said rigged.
This show, definitely.
Good stuff. Carly, thank you so much for the update. Anything you want to hit on here, or do you got to bounce or hang around or what?
No, I can hang around.
All right, awesome. What we're going to do, guys, that's going to wrap up hour 1. For those of you listening on the pod, we'll see you on the other side for hour 2. All right, let's jump into some other stuff that came down the pocket. Then we're going to try to get to a PFF preview. Let's flash that up real quick while I pull up the next graphic.
I got some advice for y'all. Take 2 weeks off, then quit.
That's talking to Marvelous Mike's team there. Take 2 weeks off and quit there, sir. So PFF Fantasy and Betting put this out. Jaden Reed in week 1, 3 receptions of 15-plus yards. That was tied for first in the league. 17.5 average depth of target, 4.93 yards per route run. That was best in the league as well. Jaden Reed, I'm telling you, that dude, and to hear the way he talks about it, too, we've actually got a soundbite here. Tim, I seen your reaction on Twitter. I absolutely loved it, man, when it came to Jaden Reed talking at his locker here. Hopefully this is the same clip that you heard earlier, but here was Bird, number 11, at his locker earlier today. This was tweeted out by Matt Schneidman in the locker room.
Yeah, my main goal is just, to fix the little mistakes that we had in the game. I had a few mistakes on, blocking stuff. So, I definitely want to hound in on that. Make sure I can clean that up because, that all goes hand in hand. It's a game of inches, so need them all.
Careful back there with Nacho Libre pulling the pants up. Anyway, how cool is it? Jaden Reed is leading the league in receiving yards, Emilio. And what's he talk about in his locker? I got to get better at blocking.
Yep. You know it. I mean, that's where it starts.
No block, no rock.
Thank you, Matt. I was just going to ask you what your thought was on that because, I mean, that's how Josh Jacobs. That's how our team got 7.8. That's how we're leading the NFL in rushing yards per carry. I mean, how many times did Christian block? I mean, was a 70 PFF grade in blocking? He blocked like 15 times, something like that. So everyone does it. It's it's not a one-man army out there. Everyone's got to contribute, and that way it keeps everyone versatile. We can drop anyone in. We can keep doing jets. We can keep doing sweeps. We can shuffle you in real close, and then you're going to fill, the guard gap, which is crazy. How many teams do you see out there, shuffling in a wide receiver to take on the 3 gap or the 4 gap and stick their nose in there? So I think we're lucky that they have that mentality and that they want to.
Mm-hmm. Tim?
Yeah, like I said on my tweet before, man, that's how a champion responds to a question like that. Immediately basically ignored all of the stuff about his personal stats and focused on what he needed to do better, and that's championship mentality right there. He's not going to focus on all the great things he did right. He's looking at what can I improve on? And he missed some blocks in some of those run fits and in pass pro. And I'm sure he's going to address that. And when they ask him to make those blocks, he's going to do it. He's a second-year player, guys, and he's playing like a grizzled veteran already. And he's absolutely a star. I think he's, when this season's over with, he's going to be a bona fide star in the NFL for sure. And I'm just proud that he's a Packer, man. If we get great games out of him, and then, we get Romeo Dobbs and we get Tay Wicks and these guys rolling together, we're going to be unstoppable on offense.
Definitely. And listening to Brian Balaga and Mark Tauscher on Tackle Talk today on Wildy and Tausch, they asked Balaga, hey, look, you watched the tape. You broke down the tape of all the offensive linemen, right? The running game kind of sputtered in the first half, specifically with Josh Jacobs. What did you see happen different in the second half? He said they were getting to their blocks better, and the receivers blocked a lot better in the second half. Exactly what we were just talking about. Guarantee you, Jaden Reed got that rear end shootout at halftime and got those boys out there blocking on the perimeter, because what they're looking to do, especially on some of those weak zone runs, is those receivers are bypassing the corner, and they're trying to, dig out the safety. They're trying to dig those safeties out at the second level. That's where you get those big cutback plays. All of a sudden, bang, you get a couple explosives from Josh Jacobs. So it's absolutely huge within this system for the receivers to block. And it's exactly why Coach Matt LaFleur says.
No block, no rock.
That's it. So I don't know, man. Hearing Balaga talk about the offensive line, now he seemed to think Rasheed Walker didn't have the best game, and he's kind of a big Rasheed Walker fan. But Zach Tom, phenomenal game, obviously graded out as one of the second highest graded tackle in the entire league. So you got a lot to look forward to there. When we look at O-line pass protection, shifting gears here, this is kind of cool. 3013 tweeted this out, how all 32 offensive lines held up in pass protection in week 1. Okay, and this is how they did it. Best O-lines in pass protection listed by average week 1 rank in pressure plus sack rates. Okay, so they combined those two. And here's how they came out. Number 1, the Saints. The Saints look phenomenal on offense. Now, it's just one game. We'll see if it holds up. Pressure percentage as far as ranks is the top left, and then you got the top right number is the sack percentage rank. So you can see those numbers vaguely in the top right. That puts the Jets at number 2. So they were 7th in pressure percent ranks, and they were 3rd in sack percentage ranks. Okay, so that makes them number 2. We'll just go through the rankings. Baltimore number 3, Chargers number 4, Buccaneers 5, Dolphins 6, Bears 7, believe it or not. The Rams were tied for 8th with the Steelers, Cowboys 10th, and then you got the Packers at 11th. So what they have was pressure percent ranks 16th for the Packers, sack percent ranks number 10 for the Packers. That put them in the number 11 spot. So the offensive line is kind of picking up where they left off last year. Pass blocking really well, for the most part, keeping the quarterback upright. And again, some people were trying to blame the O-line on that hit that Jordan took. Jordan kind of tried to step up in the pocket, scramble, when he got his knee hurt. That was him making a play. And, oh, by the way, he was able to shuffle that ball back to Josh Jacobs and him get out of bounds to give them a shot at a Hail Mary that never happened, obviously. But we won't even talk about that right now. Another thing that came down the pike here from the offensive line, Zach Cruz tweeted this out and said, per Next Gen Stats, Packers right tackle Zach Tom allowed 0 pressures across 10 one-on-one opportunities versus the Eagles defensive end Bryce Huff, who led the NFL in pressure rate last year. Tom's all-pro season is off to a great start. He gets 2021 first-round pick, Kwity Paye, on Sunday. That's definitely going to be a matchup to watch for this week. One more statistic we're going to throw in here as far as offensive line. I'm going to get everybody's take. We can go back to any graphic. PFF Green Bay Packers tweeted out, Elton Jenkins in week 1, 78.9 pass blocking grade, 74.1 run blocking grade, 38 pass blocking snaps, 0 pressures allowed. We got our old Elton Jenkins back, boys, because he wasn't bad last year, but definitely wasn't the old Elton Jenkins. It seems like he's fully healthy now.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think you hit it on the head. That was probably the issue last year. He wasn't really 100%, I think, at any time last year. I think he was, 80, 90% at best, maybe. And it seems like he's got his legs under him again. And we know when it comes to that O-line, it's Big E and Zach Tom. Those are our pillars on that offensive line. Everything else is just trying to get the right combination around those guys. And they make their teammates better. I mean, it's no secret that after one season of playing next to Elton Jenkins, you saw the progression with Rasheed Walker there at left tackle. So these guys are leaders, and I'm glad we got the old Elton back on the O-line for sure.
Mm-hmm. Getting him back, having Zach step up. I mean, that's what a good line can lead to, is that and continuity. I mean, if we can keep, the same 5-6 out there for the rest of this year moving forward, that's going to be absolutely huge. They don't have to be, top 5 at every position, but I mean, if they work together, they gel together, they figure out strengths and weaknesses, I think that's going to be huge.
No, definitely. All right.
Can I tell you something I'm excited about? Yeah.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
So this just being my second season of really following the Packers closely and knowing more player names other than the wide receivers and the quarterback, I'm excited to see the change in these players. Like, all I know of Elton Jenkins really was just last season, and you guys are telling me that's not actually him. And so to see him come back and play like he's used to playing, I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, he's a dog. When I think of Elton Jenkins, Carly, the year that he faced, and they faced the Rams several years in a row, but there was one year in particular, the big matchup that week was they were going to put Aaron Donald on Elton Jenkins. Aaron Donald,
yes,
first ballot Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
Elton Jenkins, absolutely. I'll never forget my favorite meme. It was a picture of a dad holding a child, and somebody had photoshopped Elton Jenkins on the dad and Aaron Donald on the little child. And he's holding it like it was just, oh my God, it was phenomenal. Elton Jenkins,
one of like 3 games that Aaron Donald didn't play very well in his whole career,
and he was frustrated the whole.
He was. Elton was giving him the business all day. We could do a whole chalk talk on that matchup alone.
Yeah, and it's awesome. So cool because Elton Jenkins was a center in college, right, Emilio? Am I thinking right? He was a center.
I believe so.
When they draft him, we're going, whoa, what are we doing taking a center and a center? What is it?
Oh, no, don't worry. We're putting him at guard. Don't worry.
Yeah. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. So
he's agile, but he's got the brains to make the calls. He's, he can sit there and help Josh. I mean, I don't see our O-line, we're not doing the guard turnaround, tap the center snaps. You know what I mean? I like that. I like that we can count on a cadence and, their understanding of what this offense is doing. We don't have to worry about him turning back, looking at Jay Love and then tapping Josh Myers to get him to snap the ball.
Definitely. The big thing too for Elton, and people say, okay, if he's so good, why did they not play him at left tackle? Every scheme's a little bit different. It doesn't necessarily mean you need to put your best offensive lineman at left tackle, right? Ideally, you want him to be able to protect the blind side, obviously. But when it comes to left guard and Matt LaFleur's offense, what did we talk about from Bobby Peters' book? The staple of the offense is weak, wide zone. You go with a lot of strong right looks, you're running weak, wide zone. Guess what? That cut is C to B is what you're looking at on wide zone, right? Mm-hmm. You're starting outside. If a cutback lane's there, you're cutting into the B gap. You're cutting in between the tackle and the guard. Well, who's on the weak side most of the time when you're going strong right? It's Elton Jenkins at left guard. It's like the old John Madden quote. They asked him, they said, why do you always run left? You always run left. And he named off, he had 3 Hall of Famers. He had a Hall of Fame center, a Hall of Fame left guard, a Hall of Fame left tackle. He said, why the hell would I not run left? Like, that's the best part of our line, right? And that's
nothing like the defense knowing that you're running left and they still can't do a damn thing about it.
Yes.
Exactly. And then when you go to show a strong side run and you boot action left, guess who your pass protector is over there? It's Elton Jenkins, right? Yeah. So it's putting your guys in a position to be successful, man. That's what it's always about. So latest NFC power rankings, all right? And this is according to Pro Football Talks, Week 2 NFC power rankings. We talked about the NFL power rankings. And again, this is just the PFT, Pro Football Talks version of it here, okay? They're saying Lions 1, San Fran 2, Philly 3, Tampa Bay 4, Green Bay 5. Guys, that's fine with me. I can handle that. You kidding me? And you got your toughest matchup out of the way week 1. Granted, without your starting quarterback, they're all going to be tough until Jordan Love comes back, no doubt. But I kind of like this number 5 spot in the NFC. How do y'all feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, if you told me we were going to lose our QB1 and lose the game and still be ranked 5th, I probably wouldn't have believed you. And obviously, the Bears there at 7 is all their defense. So the Bears defense it's got them in the top 10 here in the NFC power rankings. And they did. They won that game for them on Sunday. So you got to give credit to that Bears D. But I don't know. What do you think, Emilio? I'm actually a little surprised that we're still in the top 5.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take it. We only lost Jay Love, right? I was looking at the Rams too. They lost both their tackles, a guard in the game, Puka, and they're still 8th, right? Like you said, with the Bears, 93 total offensive yards, top 7. I don't know, but Dallas is a good team. They stomped the Browns, and we're still in front of them. I mean, the Bucs are going to be decent. We'll see what Kirk can do in the Falcons. But I think we're kind of right there. And again, it's just crazy how the divisions are stacked. I mean, you get each division has some 2 beefy teams, it seems like.
Well, yeah. I mean, look at us. We got the North. We got 3 in the top 10 here. That's it's pretty crazy.
The battle.
Yep.
Yeah, and the Vikings looked great on Sunday. Granted, they played a dumpster fire of an organization, but they've Sam Darnold might be the right fit for that organization, man. We'll see. But he's talking about how this NFC power rankings stacks here. I'll tell you what else stacked. Those bowls on his head when they cut those bangs.
You think they're the metal bowls, right? They got to be like those metal ones that you can whisk a nice egg in kind of thing.
It's always about cooking with you, man. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to give him some.
Exactly right. I see you got something shared here, Emilio. Is it okay to put that on screen?
Yeah. So real fast, I know we were talking about Elton. These were Jordan Love's his target heat map from the game last Friday, right? And if we're looking at center of the field on the pod, I would say 2/3 of his passes were attempted left of the line of left of Josh Myers.
That's interesting.
So I think it's a lot. I think it's big because we've talked about a lot of crossers and stuff. A lot of that concept, we got to get across to the second window, start him on one side, bring him back across. I think he's accurate on the right. We've seen that there's 6 completions and only 7 completions, including that deep ball touchdown. And 3 misses on the right, but it looked like he wanted to, heat up on the left side. So we trust Rasheed Walker enough. We trust Elton enough. And then we're confident with Zach Tom covering his face that he can still look, and be able to work it down that side. But when I was poking around, I saw this, and I thought it was just kind of cool to look at and just kind of track the rest of the year. I know that we're going to spread it out. I know Matt's going to, get him across. But if Jordan Love favors throwing to his face left rather than, his right side.
Yeah, and the other thing,
Emilio, is this a free chart that you can get?
I believe it is. I am logged in, so I don't know, but I believe it is. It's on Next Gen.
That's really cool. I've never seen anything like that before. That's really neat.
Yeah, they've got some really cool visualizations over at Next Gen Stats. Miles per hour. Tell them again, Emilio, who was the fastest Green Bay Packer last week?
Oh, the truck. The truck was in 5th gear. I mean, he was just rolling Cole down the sideline into the Eagle. You know what I'm saying? He was.
Lock it, dude. Trucker Craft. That's the new name. Trucker Craft. Let's go.
And he puts it in 3rd. He's starting at a red light, puts it in 3rd, and just cloud of smoke out the side of that thing.
I love it. I'll tell you what, man. The Clippers too, cutting that. They were smoking as well.
Emilio, delete that picture before Clayton puts it up again.
Oh man.
Tim done hit me with a full.
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
Got to Photoshop Clayton underneath that haircut and see what we can do.
Look at Ron Tolbert looking for another flag. You can just see he's got his hand in his pocket. He's like, is there another flag in here, or did I throw them all?
Let me call in for backup there. You know what I'm saying? All right. So appreciate you sharing that, Emilio. That's good info to have there, man. Let's jump into a little PFF preview, shall we? And just take a quick glance at how this game is looking as far as on the surface. First of all, let's back up a touch and look at the summary, okay? According to PFF, again, this isn't everything, the overall power rankings, they got Green Bay 11th, right? they have the Colts 21st. Power ranking on defense, Green Bay has dropped to 24th. The Colts are sitting at 15th. Offense, they've got us 32nd, and we know why, because Malik Willis is starting this week, right? So they want to drop us down to dead last. Power ranking on offense for the Colts, 23rd. All right. And then, of course, what is that? Strength of schedule played. Green Bay already, with Philly, they're considered the 7th toughest schedule played so far, albeit just one weekend. And Indianapolis Colts played the 20th best team, is the way I'm understanding that. All right. Average offensive snaps, Green Bay got 67 in week 1. The Colts only have 45. Percentage of run plays, 34.8% run plays for Green Bay. The Colts ran at 43.2% of the time. Obviously, Green Bay passing 65.2% of the time, and the Colts passing 56.8% of the time. Their EPA per run, Green Bay 0.30. That is really good, fellas. And then, of course, EPA per run for the Colts was 0.08. Got a little bit of the matchup there. EPA per pass, Green Bay 0.14. That's expected points. Okay. What is expected points?
Added.
Per
average.
Average.
They've got like several different ones that sound similar. I need to look that up and see exactly what EPA is. And then EPA for the Colts was 0.12. So essentially, again, this was with Jordan Love in the game for every snap but one, right? They pretty much got the edge on everything as far as EPA goes. Now, when you look at the quarterback matchup down here, obviously this changes big time. Let me zoom in just a touch. That might help a little bit, maybe not. So Malik Willis, only one pass, 42.5 is a PFF grade. Anthony Richardson graded out pretty good, 76.2, right? Passer rating, when clean, 74. Look at his passer rating under pressure. That's wild. 135.4 under pressure, man. That's just crazy. And big time throw percentage at 8%. And then power rating of 2.0. And power rating rank is 24th in the league there. So just to kind of keep your eye on that. Anything you guys want to add to that right now? Green Bay, as we get into the green line, right now Green Bay is catching 3 points. Okay, so that means the Colts are 3-point favorites at Lambeau Field as it sits right now. PFF actually got the number a little closer at 2.2. Anything you guys want to hit on there, Emilio, Tim?
Can you go back to the summary?
Yeah.
And scroll down a little? Yeah, that's alarming. Richardson, passer rating under pressure, 135.4. So let's rush 4 all day, please.
What did we say earlier in the week too, Tim, didn't we?
Yeah.
Keep everything in front of you. Don't let them get out of the pocket.
Yeah, please, no single high. Please.
But Tim, the fans wanted it. What are you talking about?
You got it in week 1. How did you like what AJ Brown did to us? So that's glaringly obvious, right? I'm not saying you don't dial up a blitz, right? Fire a nickel down there once in a while or something, just keep them honest. But being blitz heavy is ain't gonna get it done against a quarterback like this. He's probably hoping for pressure so he can wiggle out of there. So I hope we do. I hope we play him straight up, keep everything in front of you, like you said. Come up and make those open field tackles. If you're going to, have them throwing those unders, we got to play stout there in the middle of the field. So,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm still just surprised at how efficient we were running the ball with less than 35%, as our attempts. I mean, we were chucking the ball over the yard. So I think that's impressive. We need to keep that up, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. When you look at the green line here again, let's look at the numbers here as far as the money coming in. So the cash, 53% of the cash is in on Green Bay, okay? But 59% of the tickets are on the Colts at -3. So you got somewhat of a push there, a little bit of a split. The market right now has got Green Bay 134. The Colts in the money line market is a -159. PFF's got it a little bit closer than that, with Green Bay at 141, and then the Colts at actually a -141. And a win probability right now, they've got the Colts at 58.1%, Green Bay at 41.5% there. So the tickets, as far as the overall tickets on the money line, 79% of the tickets are coming in on Indy for the money line just to win outright. 81% of the cash is on Indy to win outright. So the public is all over Indianapolis right now to win outright. Okay. The over-under set at 41. Obviously, they smoked the over-under last week, if I remember correctly. Everybody was me included, was like, I expect this to be kind of a lower scoring game, man. They pushed it. absolutely
Yeah.
torched. So there you go. That's the quick look at the green line. Now let's get into the lineup matchup here real quick. And again, it's going to be kind of hard to see. I'm going to go full screen as much as I can for y'all, but we're going to have stuff off screen if we don't zoom out like this. Let's go with 11 personnel and nickel. First of all, here's how it looks from Green Bay offensively. Okay. Obviously Walker, let's go across the offensive line. Rasheed Walker, 66.3. Elton Jenkins, 63.8. That was from last year. I think these numbers are from last year, if I remember correctly. Myers, 54.7. Sean Ryan, 49.3. Zach Tom, 79.7. Again, this is kind of giving you a global look of what they were looking like last year, okay? When we look at the defensive front for the Colts, you've got Latu. They've got his new grade up there, 65.4. Some of these may not be updated, to be honest with you. DeForest Buckner's the big one for me. If somehow, some way he doesn't play in this game, guys, I'm really liking our chances. I really am. Right. 82.8, sixth highest graded defensive lineman. You got Lewis at a 47.1, seems to be the weak spot on that interior defensive line. And then Kwity Paye, the former first-round pick, obviously pretty solid edge defender there. They're showing him at a 69.8 as it sits right now. What sticks out to you about this in the trenches matchup when it comes to 11 personnel and nickel defense?
Yeah, we're gonna have to hold the young guy a lot too, definitely. But like you said, Buckner is another 3-tech that we have to stop. Hopefully that he's overhead of Jenkins most of the night, and Ryan or Morgan, whoever it's going to be, is going to be able to handle Lewis, and then Zach Tom's going to be on an island. If we can do same thing with Lane Johnson, let's put Zach Tom out on an island, trust him to hold that one-on-one, and we have a lot more options with our backs, tight ends, and everything else moving forward.
Yep. I agree. I think, looking at Sean Ryan there at right guard, like you said, is it going to be him or is it going to be Jordan Morgan? It could be a little bit of both. But I certainly think that this could be a chance for Sean Ryan to put together a decent game. If you just look at the matchup in front of him, that looks pretty evenly matched. I know these numbers may or may not be current, but I look at our O-line, man, that middle of that offensive line, Myers and Ryan, is a huge question mark. And so you've got to, if it has to be right guard by committee, then let's do it. I think we pepper in Jordan Morgan, and even if we're starting Sean Ryan, or even if it's the other way around, you never know. Maybe they move Jordan Morgan into a starting role at some point, and then Ryan's backing him up. But Buckner playing, yeah, I'm with Emilio. That's going to be somebody you got to account for, like you said, that 3-tech. But even if he does go, if he's banged up with a back injury, I wonder if you just go right at him. You know what I mean? See what he's really got left in the tank out there. And if he starts rotating more and they have to bring in second and third depth chart guys in to play that spot, that's a chance for us to exploit that, I think.
Yeah, Drew D says we can't let Buckner destroy us. He's the Tuesday player.
Yeah, they've already talked about him. Definitely.
Yeah, that's the guy that we can't let him wreck the game plan. If I'm the Colts, I'm putting him right in that A to B gap on the right side and trying to force a one-on-one matchup, get Kwity Paye out a little bit wider on Tom's outside shoulder, and trying to make Sean Ryan and Josh Myers have to block Buckner. You do not want Buckner wasted lining up over Elton Jenkins, because Elton Jenkins he'll stop him, no problem, right? So you'll probably see those switch a little bit, and that's where you get into some a multitude of scheming. But I'm with this comment right here. Where's it at? Bang. Antonio Universe says, Colts are going to stack the box. The Pack will have to get the passing game going to back the Colts off the line. Completely agree. And more specifically, Antonio, I think you need a lot of bootleg action, right? You've got to get Malik Willis out on the perimeter if he is playing quarterback, and get them thinking twice about loading that interior, right? If they load the interior, don't be afraid to run outside zone. Also mix in a little zone read if you need to. Maybe a little RPO mix up too. Mm-hmm. But the main thing, get the running game going, stick with it, and run boot action off of it, I think is going to be the key. But, yeah, I think you're spot on, Antonio. You're going to have some kind of passing game, or they're just going to load the box and shut the run down.
Hey, Clayton, that's a great point by Antonio, and it made me have a question for you out of the blue. Like, do you think there's going to be a concentrated effort here from Coach LaFleur to just, like, get Willis going early, and we might just see a lot of throws right away, almost maybe unconventional wisdom. You may think go out there and establish a run, like we talked about, and then get him some play action off of that. But you think he just dials up some, quick throws for him right away just to kind of try and find a rhythm?
The biggest issue, Tim, is the playbook is going to have to be so diluted down, right? Because he doesn't know the entire playbook. He doesn't know the entire offense. To me, the answer when a quarterback has less time in the offense, right? And here, okay, if you do want to get the passing game going, if it's short, intermediate, and they're stacking the box, the best way to do that's RPO. Now, I guarantee you, no matter where Malik Willis has played, what system he's played in, there's been RPO aspects installed. RPO rules are pretty straightforward. They're pretty simple. They're 1 and 2 reads. You know exactly what you're doing. He's got an experience running zone read, and when you're going RPO, you got to be quick. You've seen it in the practice footage we just showed you, right? LaFleur was working on him with that kind of side and ride and working not just the zone read, but probably that RPO look. That's the best way to utilize it. And what happens is if you come out in this basic 11 personnel, and what we're showing here on the screen with PFF is what we call a dub set. A dub even set it's strong right? If you come out in that strong right look and they line up this way, if they're going to load the box, they're going to have to bring a safety down into the box. Now the question becomes on the outside, are they playing press or are they playing off? If they're playing off, then you on your 2-by side, whether it's the nickel corner who's covering the 2 playing off, or it's the guy covering the 1 playing off. If the 1's playing off, there's probably a check with me at the line where you'll go smoke screen 1 to the 1 receiver on an RPO. And if the 2's playing off, then you'll go bubble screen RPO, meaning in this case, Reed would run a bubble outside. If they're both playing up press, that's where boot action might be able to free up something in the short to intermediate zone when you come with like a drive concept, a drag with a medium crosser along the backside there as well. But RPO to me, Tim, is the easiest way to get from point A to point B when someone doesn't completely understand the offense.
Right.
Yep.
So that feed them maybe a couple screens here and there, just to try to get the ball out, get it in the hand of their playmakers. I know you're talking bubbles, but even a slip to Josh or a tight end screen, something like that. And if they're coming with heat, that'll slow them down. A screen always slows down a rush.
And if they're really keying in on the run and you go play action, you've seen Tucker Kraft on that 29-yarder where he had that 19 mile per hour last week.
Yep.
Little play action drag across. You get those backers back or botting up on the run. You might be able to free that up too. You don't have to be a great quarterback to hammer a 40-yard drag route. You don't, right? So you just got to kind of – the defense is going to have to show up. That's what it's going to come down to. If we win the turnover battle 3-1 again, I really like our shots. I really do. So
I was going to say, at some point we're going to have to throw a deep ball too, though. I mean, it's not like it's not like we're going to, it's not like we're handcuffing his arms and he can't throw the ball over 20 yards. Like if Watson gets separation, if Watson, if he's even, I mean, I think Malik's going to throw it to him, right? What kind of weapons has he had around him at Tennessee too? So, I mean, I think our wide receiver core is definitely an upgrade. I think he's got some trust and faith in him, and I think the guys have some faith in him as well.
Definitely.
I agree. I would agree. I think you want to at least get a look, see what he's got, right? You got to set up a shot, see what he's got in that arm.
If they load the box, why not?
Right? Yep, absolutely.
So, yeah, I agree. And Carly, if you've got anything, question, comment, you just jump in at any point, okay?
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I'm fascinated. I'm still soaking it up and learning all about this because there's still so much I don't understand the complexities of, but this makes sense. It makes sense what you guys are saying about just giving them a shot. If they load the box, let's test them on it. Let's keep them honest.
Got it. All right. So if we go to base here now, let's drop that comment down there. Bang. And I see you got something already there, Emilio, too. Do you want to hit on that real quick, man?
Yeah, it was just kind of in response to our boy here, Boris Balkan. He said, how are you going to deal with a 6'4", 255 quarterback who can throw it 80 yards? That is true. One of these lines is literally off the screen. I mean, that thing's a goner.
I got an answer. Xavier McKinney.
I was going to say, I do see a red dot. And I know he mentioned 80 yards, but if you see this line right here, where this last touchdown went, 20 yards was his max completion besides that 80-yarder. So they're not pushing the ball crazy downfield. It's not like he's forcing 30, 40-yard, deep post flags kind of thing. I think that was probably maybe a deep curl, something like that. He's looking, he threw a pick to the left, and he's accurate to the right, kind of like how we saw with Jordan Love.
I seen that actual play, Emilio. It was a crosser, and he threw the thing 120 mile an hour. That's what I'm talking about. Not having touch, not being able to lay the throws. One of the knocks on him coming out of college, and it showed up on the scouting report. He's such a muscular guy. It's hard for him to tuck his arms to make those touch throws.
Right.
And again, he was cheeks in college. Now, the dude's got all the physical ability in the world. He does. One of the big knocks is, can he stay healthy? And again, like you said here, if you just read that comment, you would think, oh, man, he must have connected on 3 or 4 passes way down the field. No, he hit on one. He hit on one.
Mm-hmm.
What was, what I'm saying? Like, so if you look at it more than 20 yards down the field, he was 1 for 3, correct?
Yep.
So there you go. Last time I checked, that's not a great completion percentage, but anyway. Thank you for pulling that up, man. That's really good to see that visualization there, for sure. All right, let's jump back over to PFF. This is your base set. Again, it's kind of hard to see. I apologize. I wish we could zoom in a little bit. Whoa, that's too much, ain't it?
Way over.
Way over. So let's just go. This is their base 4-3 look. Okay, so you see at the stack backer position, they're not loaded by no stretch of the imagination. They got speed. That's 75.9. Everybody else is 44.9 and then 30.8. Their safeties aren't nothing to write home about, at least early in the year here. Moore at corner, pretty solid there. 7th highest graded corner. That's Kenny Moore the second. He's 5'9", 190. Coverage rate of 90.9, so a solid grade there. Probably want to try to steer your offense away from that side of the field. Try to pick on our cat right here. Go to 12 personnel. Try to run the rock. Try to pick Jalen Jones.
But if you get Christian Watson, lined up over Moore, I mean, what's that? 5 inches? 5-6 inch difference right there.
5'9" and Christian Watson 6'5". That's way more than that, brother.
Yeah,
that's an 8-inch difference, right?
Me like you that, Chan.
Yeah, take you a couple shots because again, Blackman at safety, Julian Blackman, actually a pretty solid ball player if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
No, well, last year he was. That's what I was thinking of. 68.3. So there you go. Maybe you do take a shot to Christian, And Malik's got a big arm. That's the thing. Malik Willis, I remember his pro day. He was throwing off platform and a lot of the things that you've seen Anthony Richardson do too, as far as the arm strength. Now he's much smaller in stature, but again, what if Malik Willis just goes out there and absolutely balls out? How cool would that be?
Oh my God.
It'd be absolutely awesome. So when you look at the 12 personnel, again, Musgrave 68.1, Kraft 60.4. They're showing Dobbs and Watson on the field. We know Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed's ass better be on the field every single play that he's healthy, because that dude, he is quickly becoming that game changer. There's no two ways about it. So, all right, let's move to the defensive side of the ball here. We got to wrap up quick. Defensively, we're going 11 personnel versus our nickel. That's what they'll be in the majority of the time, I'm pretty sure. So, from a PFF standpoint here, they don't have Bullard's grade up yet, which last week wasn't nothing to write home about. McKinney's last year at 87.5, obviously at the safety position. Corner, Jair Alexander last year, 75.9. Stokes looking a lot better this year. He's in the 60s for week 1. Keyshawn Nixon in the slot. At the wide receiver position, really the number one guy you want to stop is right here, Alec Pierce, right? 4th highest graded wide receiver in week 1. Just a solid receiving grade at 88.4.
But to that point, Clayton, let's check his routes here. All right. 3 for 3. This is all we see as he ran. I mean, that's just kind of a.
That's so. You tell me he only ran 3 routes, or he caught 3 balls.
Corner. Yeah, these were his 3 receptions.
Well, lots of slot action.
No, 2 receptions, right? Or
no, he was. It's 3 for 3. 3 for 3, 125, 1 touchdown, and 10 yards of yak. So his 10 yards of yak came on this little, just a nice little short crosser. Give him the ball, 5 yards off the line of scrimmage, and get another 10. And then he basically just ran 2 kind of. Climb. I think Packers have called it tornado before, a post corner. So that's not terrible. As long as McKinney and Bullard can backpedal and they keep their heads up, I think we're going to be in decent shape. Right?
Yeah. Dude, I love what you're doing here, pulling these up, and this is absolutely awesome. Good stuff, Emilio. So yeah, there you go. As far as offensive line, they've got a solid offensive line early on here. with Raymond. 82.8. Nelson, you guys know Quentin Nelson, one of the best in the business there. They get Quentin Nelson from Notre Dame, just an absolute stud. 6'5", 330, 90.7 PFF grade. Kelly at center, 71.9. Fries at 93.0. He actually grading out higher than Nelson there in 2024, just be one game, but 6'6", 305 out of Penn State. They like those Kenkel boys up there in Indy playing offensive line, that's for sure. So they got a solid offensive line, man. They really do. And from a weapon standpoint, like we said with Pierce, I wonder what happened with do you have Pittman's chart? Could you pull that up, Emilio? Would that be difficult?
No.
I'd like to know what he did last week. He graded out a 61.3. I'd like to see where they're trying to target him at, because again, we noticed with Pierce, 2 of the 3 routes were deep, that deep climb, deep post, like you were saying. I'd like to see where they're trying to hit him out. And look at boy, Jonathan Taylor had a rough day, didn't he? 56. Holy cow. That's kind of rare there at the running back position.
Right. No, they don't have anything for his 2024. So I don't know if he.
Okay, cool. And everybody, listen, it's early in the season for everyone. If you look at if you look at snaps by position, they're showing 31 out wide, 8 in the slot. So it looks like he had 49 plays, actually 50 plays. One was inline, so they were probably going with like a little nasty split there. It's okay, Emilio. Don't worry about it. We're ready to
No, I was just taking – no, I mean, I got a couple, but I was just kind of taking a peek. This was, back in let's see, hold on. 2023 week 13. So, I mean, he's kind of all over the board if you're looking at it like this, but not Alec Pierce deep route kind of stuff, right? If you're looking here, week 17 was just a couple of slants, bubbles, little fade. That nothing crazy, really. So I think he's definitely going to be your underneath wide receiver.
Yeah. As far as the defensive front here, too, back to PFF, the one that sticks out to me, the matchup you're really, really looking for here, Rashawn Gary going against their right tackle, that's probably your best shot, right? Everything else is pretty solid. That's definitely the weakest link is their right tackle at Smith. Right. And again, Braden Smith, he's graded out pretty well his whole career, starting in 2018, 72.2, 79.8, 80.1, 80.6, 75.5, 83.3, and then, of course, 1 week this year, 70.4. Hopefully, Rashawn Gary pressure on him. But what you got to do here, again, bring 4. Don't smack your head against the wall. Make him play underneath. Make him play with touch, right? Yep. Give him some cover 3 seam looks, that type of thing. Make sure you've got pretty much a makeshift cover 4 defense with a cover 3 approach like look.
Right.
And make that dude beat you with touch on the ball. That's the way I see it.
Put Rashawn in that wide 9 and let him eat.
Just let him eat.
That what's that? Granson there? That tight end ain't gonna help much.
Colin Granson seems to be a weak spot on their team too. Let me go base real quick just to make sure that PFF didn't screw up and they've actually got a stud in the other spot. So yeah, they got Mo Alley Cox. Now he's a monster. I'm not saying he's good, but 6'5", 267. He's a big old boy. PFF grade wise, 2023 was a 60.8. 2022 was a 48.2. Yeah, so they're kind of weak at the tight end position, to be honest with you.
Right.
Yeah, so make sure they don't hit you with the deep shot with Alec Pierce. Watch Pittman underneath. And Jonathan Taylor, again, the thing that gives me a lot of hope when you look at it matchup-wise now is when we go back to those early, like I said, it's just 1 week, but Philly can run the hell out of the ball. Opponent yards per rush attempt, Green Bay 10th at 3.8, man. If you can get that kind of performance out of your run defense, I like your chances here, man. To be in it, again, that's all you can ask for with a backup quarterback. Just be in it at the end.
And if you just want to pull it up real quick, we'll look at Jonathan Taylor's chart from last week. I mean, really barely got outside the hash. I mean, he is between the tackles kind of runner. He did break one, right?
Did he fumble twice, Emilio? Is that what I'm seeing?
Tackled for a loss is the red line.
Oh, it is. Okay. I thought it was fumble.
So it looked like he maybe had 2 tackles. Looks like outside zone, left and right, where he lost, and then a lot of looks like he was a lot of sidecar, right? I'm not seeing a lot from the ISO up top, a lot of left, right sort of stuff. So I think that if we can, keep attention to that, they like to flow across the face of Anthony Richardson. They want to run to the right side of the line. I think it's going to be big for Rashawn to try to slow him down, and hold that edge.
Got it. Good stuff, dude. Good information. I love this, man. PFF preview, you pulling up the next gen stats. It's the way to go, dude. I like it. I like it a lot. All right, so we're at the hour 24 mark. Let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. I've been talking for 6 straight hours, man. I'm just ready to. I don't want to see another human being for the rest of the night, to be honest with you.
Andy, I'm going to bed.
Right. She just got back from Knoxville, too. She's like, what about me?
Uh-huh.
Let's go around the horn one time. Anything else y'all want to add? Carly, we'll start with you. Any questions, comments, anything at all before we wrap up here?
Just kind of a quick thing about Jordan Love and his injury and stuff. I know they're not putting him on IR. We've seen quarterbacks come back too early and it keep affecting them or other players too. I can't recall off the top of my head who I was hearing about, but I really hope they take enough time. I know they want to get back in it for the season. I don't know what you guys think. Would you rather have him back as early as possible, or do you want him to make sure he's 100% first?
It's like JG Wentworth. It's my money and I need it now. You know what I mean? Like, we're so impatient. Sponsor the show, by the way, Wentworth. But, I just love the idea of Love, no pun intended, running out of that tunnel and the fire it would ignite into the team. But you're spot on. Like, if you march him out there too early, and they're saying there's no extra risk, right, of injuring, it's just pain threshold. But still makes you nervous because, like Matt said, if he can't truly protect himself and he's not 100% mobile, then you are putting yourself in harm's way. So I understand exactly where you're coming from.
Yeah.
The kid in me wants Love running out of that tunnel just for that extra jolt, try to get a win. But the smart thing is definitely let's let that thing heal up a little bit.
Yeah, if you're looking at the grades, Carly, with the grade 1, a mild tear, which is less than 10% of the fibers in your ligaments torn, your knee is still stable. They said the grade 1 requires a short period rest, 48 to 72 hours of walking only, followed by 1 to 3 weeks of exercise and rehab. He's doing that. And they even said it could take from a few days to a week and a half to heal from a grade 1, 2 to 4 weeks with a grade 2.
And they're saying the big thing that keeps that the way you get over the pain so quick is stay off of it, let the scar tissue build up around it. That's what's going to strengthen it. And then, now if you're on it sooner, then that scar tissue is going to get worn a little bit. And you're going to have more pain, right? So I'm no doctor, obviously, like LaFleur says, but that's just based off of the former offensive linemen that have talked about it. So going to be interesting to see, though, man. Again, what if Malik Willis comes out and gets a dub? That would be awesome, man. Do we have a quarterback controversy, Tim, if Malik Willis goes out there and gets a win? Look at Tim.
We could have a quarterback controversy for one more week because he'd be going into Tennessee.
Right.
If that
The
happens.
revenge tour.
Yeah.
Revenge tour.
You keep wanting that. I'm not sure about that. We'll see.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
All right, Tim, you got anything else, bub?
Yeah, not football related. We can't go without mentioning, 9/11 guys.
Definitely.
23 years ago. So we want to take a moment to just honor those nearly 3,000 people that we lost on that day and appreciate our first responders and our military and our, and honestly, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw today. I mean, even the political wars kind of ended today, and our presidential candidates kind of buried the hatchet and they shook hands and put politics aside to remember 9/11 today. So that's in this political climate, honestly, that's a huge statement.
Rare.
Yeah, very rare. So kudos to both of them. And I know we have some veterans that are part of the posse, so we want to salute them and thank them for their service, and just never forget, like Tony says here in the chat, never forget, guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Again, shout out to everybody who serves our communities, whether it's, like with my brother's passing, his neighbor that really kind of watched over him while I was here out of town, living away from my brother. His name's Jim, former retired fire chief, people like that all over the country that just literally when other people are running away from danger, they're sprinting towards it, all in the name of just, hey, let's help our fellow citizens. Police, fire, like you said, EMTs, especially our military, everyone who serves our community, our nation, man. We say it 1,000 times and it's not enough. You're the reason we have the freedom to get on here and do such a sucky show. And we appreciate you more than you know, man. We really do.
Amen.
So, again, if you're one of those people, thank y'all so much for giving us the freedom to do what we do. Tim, very well said. Thank you for bringing that up, Bob. So,
Absolutely.
all right, guys, we're out of here. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us. We will be back tomorrow night, most likely 7 p.m. Central. I'm sure we'll get another injury report and all that good stuff. But like I said, take a second tonight, hit your knees, and thank the good Lord above for the people around you and the people who are always, like I said, supporting us in our freedom. So, Tim, help me out here.
Oh, let me get it here. Oh, here he is.
For those of you listening on the pod,
See, Jacob's still here in spirit. Thank y'all for making us a part of your day. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world.
Bon dia.
There I go.